ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. See, in the world, many people suffer from innumerable mental disabilities and negative feelings, and they perform actions unconsciously, and when they consciously introspect the cause for their misery or sufferings, they feel dejected, they feel neglected, they feel that they have performed or resorted to certain actions or things which in an ordinary way, with a conscious mind, they would not have done it. And had it been there, that conscious mind, they would have stayed away from such actions which brought them misery and suffering. So, this kind of feelings cannot be shared with anybody, and they suffer a lot inside with this kind of feelings. But in this regard, the famous sage Guru Nanak says in one of his sayings that if the body is covered with dirt, it can be washed away with water. If the clothes are soiled and polluted, soap and water can purify them, clean them. If the mind is filled with evil, love for God can purify the mind. Here, the very word is very significant. This one word brings immense transformation in one's life. That is love. Love for God. When it arises in you, it purifies all your being. See, though we hear and use the word love very often, we miss the real meaning of that love. That's how, though we see the love in all the relationships, the real meaning of the word love cannot be known from the dictionaries of a language. See, the real meaning of the love can be known only through the book of one's life only. Suppose you refer a dictionary of language for the meaning of fire. So there you can see the word and the meaning. The meaning of the fire is a thing that burns away. But can that knowledge or knowing of the word and meaning can burn you? It doesn't burn you, because it is there in the book, but it cannot burn you. Similarly, a water. So you know the meaning of water, which quenches the thirst, but the word and meaning cannot quench your thirst. Similarly, the word love, if you can simply know from the dictionary of language, it doesn't help you in any way. So unless that love is experienced in life and realized in life, then only you come to know the true meaning of that word, and one experience of that love is sufficient to transform your being. You see, there is a energy in all of us. So it is called life energy. So the life energy, it is a flow, it is not stagnant. So suppose anger is there, anger has arisen in us. What is that anger? It is another form of the energy, and when it is a negative energy. So anger is a negative energy. So when love arises, how it arises? When you direct the channel of that life energy towards love, then it does miracles. So the life energy has to be directed towards proper things in life. Suppose there is a parent who scolds, who beats their child. So people who watch such beating by the parents feel that the parents are cruel. But the parents are beating the child or scolding the child for his own good. So in that beating or scolding of the children, the love of the parents is inherent. So how can you say that it is love? That's what you ask. You see, love is a creation. Love is not only creative but also destructive. You can ask how. See, when you bring down a old house, it is not negativity, it is not destruction. Destruction is a part of a construction. So, to build a new house, the old house has to be dismantled. So, love is creative. Unless you bring that part of love in your life, you cannot come out or overcome the negative tendencies which haunt you all the time. Negativity is not negative as such. In every negativity, if you can see the positive, and that becomes, you transcend both negativity and positivity. When you can transcend and when you can observe from that transcendental stage only, you can feel the negativity as a positive. For example, a child is never beaten by his mother at any point of time. So, what happens? That means there is no relationship between a mother and a child. So, even psychiatrists say that unless a mother beats or scolds her child, that relationship of mother and child do not exist or do not survive, because indifference is a sign of absence of relationship, absence of feeling oneness and belongingness between a mother and a child. So, every parent takes care of their children. So, love means caring for others, feeling for others. So, the intention behind every action is very important. Only that decides whether you are positive or negative. When you do any action with love towards the other, it becomes virtuous. So, virtue cannot be cultivated. Virtue is a flower. See, when you perform the right actions with the right intentions, all actions become virtuous. So, when you direct your life energy towards that positive attitude, with noble thoughts, then the flowers which blossom are similar to flowers of wisdom. You see, what is a thorn to a rose bush? Thorn is nothing but a negative energy which ought to become a flower has become a thorn. By becoming a thorn, it has become a protection to the flower. So, all thorns are there to protect the bush and the flowers of that rose bush. Similarly, anger, what we know from scriptures is even the Mahatmas get anger, but their anger is intended towards the well-being of the people and the whole cosmos. So, the intention behind that anger is holier and is filled with full of love. You see, there is a Sufi story. One Sufi saint was going to visit a temple, a famous old temple hidden in the mountains of a village. So he reached that village, and on the road by side there was a tea stall. So he asked before entering the village, he asked the tea stall fellow, who is untruthful and truthful in the village? Can you name them so that I can meet them? So, because it's a village, everybody knows everybody. So he told two names of two persons. So he went and asked the truthful man, what is the route for that old temple in the mountains? And he said, the way to reach the temple is through mountains only. That's what, and he explained the route in detail to this saint. Then he approached the man, the other person, who is untruthful. Surprisingly, he also told the same route. So he was puzzled and amazed. So again he came to the center of the tea stall and asked them whether there is any Sufi saint in this village. And they directed him towards that saint. So he met that fakir, and fakir heard whatever the saint asked and replied as follows. What the saint asked is, how can the both the truthful man and untruthful man has told the same route? How can it be? That's what his question. Then the fakir replied, see, the truthful man has said, in your own interest, in your own well-being. What he said is in your own well-being. See, in fact, there is a river besides the village. So, if you cross the river, you will reach the other shore very easily. But you have come on a donkey. There is no boat for you. So, you have to take your donkey. So, even if boat is available and the donkey may cause you trouble while crossing the river. So, he suggested you, the truthful person, to travel through the mountains only to reach the temple. So, his intentions were very clear and very noble. He don't want to harass you. That's why he has explained the route in detail. So, you can go and reach the temple along with your donkey. You can in fact ride on the donkey and go there also. But the untruthful person, his intention was different. He delighted in the fact that you will be harassed while treading the mountains. So, he did not give the exact reasons, and the route also he has told in some confusing manner, so that you will face all hardships on the route. So, the intention, though the route is same, though both have told the same thing, but the intentions are different. So, this is what we said. So, the point here is, so when you are virtuous, when you perform virtuous deeds, divinity always behind you and protects you from all points of falling into the evil ways. So, the pertinent and essence of the teaching is love cares. Love has got a concern. So, concern is love, care is love. So, it always creates. Love is creativity. So, when you love a thing or person, your intentions are holy. A disciple and a guru. So, a true guru makes the disciple to undergo all the pains and sufferings, because pain and suffering is the way of purification. As the gold passes through the flames of the fire to get purified, so a disciple goes to the flames of the wisdom, the fire of wisdom. He goes through. So, in that process, whatever that surreptitious and hidden, suppressed feelings of emotion and impressions which are there and stored in the unconscious mind, they get burnt away in the fire of wisdom, in the love of the divinity. Then you walk through the Ganges of purity, perfection and virtue, and above all, the ineffable and unconditional love of the divinity. So, thank you.